Yo, what's going on, homies? It's your boy Stumped back for the OPTC video, and in today's video, we're diving into the treasure map versus Nami to super evolve the free-to-play PK Hancock with a no new batch, no new unit, no 11th anniversary team-based guide. Now, in today's video, we will be including Ace as a friend captain. We're back into the midst of treasure map and sort of utilizing the friend captain to your disposal, so that way you can get this type of content cleared very, very easily. Today we're focusing on the new world, but look, if you are really struggling with the gimmicks of the new world, this is a perfect opportunity to sort of dive back into Grand Line, rank quite nicely on a bit of an easier content, and then move back into the new world whenever you guys need. Because we've had the big celebration of the 11th anniversary, we had 2 treasure maps with very, very high boosted characters. You should have stocked up on stuff like limit break materials, stuff like blue tickets, tablets, all that kind of stuff, and really grinding treasure map now, it's not really like the smartest play, unless you have some pretty good teams, unless you have obviously access to Ace and stuff like that, and you're more of an endgame player. Sort of staying in the new world is fairly easy in that regard. But if you guys don't have access to Ace, like I said, very easily you can skip the intrusion, and the final boss this time around is actually really not that challenging. I'll probably put out a short a little bit later with some like double no Ace teams for the intrusion and the final boss. Definitely at least the final boss, because like I said, if you guys just want to play new world, don't really care about ranking all that much, and you just want to hit your milestones, you can easily just grind without fighting the intrusion, and you'll be able to get to the milestones fairly easy with a bit of playtime under your belt as well. But look, I digress. We'll do some stuff with my teams. I do have Blackbeard, I do have Ace, so I'll put out some stuff later, and I will do some stuff with the 11th anniversary characters if there are some tweaks. I think the 11th anniversary characters probably just sort of feature in the mini boss fights rather than the final fight. But I'll have to have a look at that as well. But if you enjoyed the video, about like button, hit the subscribe button, do all that good stuff. As you guys will see down here, we're back to sort of like just the standard stuff with treasure map. There's no like crazy tablet for being in the top 20% like there was for the 11th anniversary. New world players, you'll have more limit break materials between 1 and 5 million points. So very, very nice stuff there. Ideally, you just want to hit 2 million so you get like all the character stuff. But if you do get upwards of, I think it's 10 million for the milestones, you are going to get a lot of the extra stuff there as well. So as you can see here, Ace, Blackbeard, Marco, they are the boosted characters. Blackbeard is the pistol, which is awesome. So is Ace, and then C-Cart charge is Marco, which is kind of whatever. Yeah, the C-Cat from Boa, which everyone should have. The 5+ of Sanji and Frankie, so make sure you super evolve that particular unit. You have Saturn getting 25 turns of cooldown, which is hilarious because Saturn just has such a high cooldown. And then the rest of the characters from the 11th anniversary being 1.35, including the Ulti and Perona. This one's a bit of an annoying one because they really want you to utilize Nami, Yamato, and Otama as well for the final fights. So look, the intrusion gets a bit spicy, but like I said, the rest of the fights do seem pretty simple. Now, for the way I like to play the game, when it comes to the mini bosses, I do like to speed through them as quickly as possible, but you guys can add more point boosters and stuff like that to your teams if you guys would like to prioritize that instead, and that's something we'll talk about as well. So starting it off, we have the carrot fight. The recommended characters are the new rare recruit Perona from the Nami and the Otama and Yamato batch, and then the free-to-play Zoro, which is hilarious because free-to-play Zoro is just very easy to get. Everyone gets the good stuff. Carrot is weak to Cerebrals. She puts up 3 turns of defense up and threshold, and then 6 turns of damage reduction. She has full immunity and normal attacks only. So the team I put together looks a little bit like this. You can easily just throw Zoro on the team over the Sengoku unit. That's going to work out pretty hunky-dory. You can use Luffy to wave clear turn 1. This 5+ Luffy, everyone should have maxed out. I encourage and I plead for everyone to max out this particular character. He's very, very good. He's boosted every single treasure map. He gives cooldowns at the start of the with his special, but he's super type. As long as you have 1 Straw Hat on the team, does 50 times his attack inside damage to all enemies. So you can actually use his super type to actually wave clear turn 1, and then use the other one to wave clear turn 2. If you guys are really struggling here, you could like put like treasure map Zoro. The free to play Brook is another really good wave clearer as well, who are also boosted. I'm using the baby Sengoku just to give the attack boost and all boost to Kobe for the final stage. And then I have Shirahoshi for Rainbow Orbs. We're wave clearing turn 1, wave clearing turn 2. And then Robin with the Mr. 1 support is basically going to cover you for everything that you need here. She removes 5 turns of all defensive effects, and then she rotates orbs to the same orb that she has, and she removes Despair. But we're really just using her here for the defense up the damage reduction, and the threshold removal. And then with the Mr. 1 support, you get a bit of a chain boost and getting rid of that extra turn of damage reduction too. Other characters you can use are like something like Rush Sanji. That's going to work out fine. If you guys really want to, you can obviously just use the free-to-play Frankie, and you can use the free-to-play Zoro. As you guys saw there, he's a recommended character. As long as you have Luffy on the team, you remove 5 turns of defense up in threshold, and then Frankie can remove damage reduction. You also get color affinity, you get orb boosting, and attack boosting with Luffy. So you can put together a really easy free-to-play team with this particular build, but as I said, I like to make things go a little bit quicker, so I don't want to have to worry about orb rotations and all that nasty stuff. Robin can basically just take care of the defensive effects. Sengoku gives me a very big attack and orb boost, and then wham bam, thank you man, we're off to the races. Moving on to the ulti fight now, the recommended character is the Sanji and Frankie, who we are not using in this fight because we want as many 1.4 boosters on the final fight as possible. On Battle 1, fighters, slashers, and shooters get all the good stuff. Ulti speaks to shooters. She gives a 10-turn bind to your left-hand column. She blows away one random character from your right-hand column, and then she puts up normal attacks only. So the team I put together looks a little bit like this. Now, you can change it depending on what you have and what you don't have, because I am using a bunch of Treasure Map Legends here. Frankie as a leader actually makes your team immune to blow away. So having double Frankie, even though your left column gets bind, means that you just bypass the blowaway effect and you don't have to worry about it. And then if you put Blackbeard on the right hand side, he's actually going to remove the bind, which works out pretty hunky-dory there. So utilizing his special, you get a chain boundary. You then can use the Sengoku special because we have one of every type on this team. Sengoku gives the attack and orb boost to Blackbeard. You have the chain boundary effect, and you should be able to kill very easy with this particular team. Sengoku also rotates all orbs and is a very, very fast special, so you don't have to worry about bringing in Orb Manipulator. I have Buggy on this team because he's a point booster and he's a strength character, and then I have the Lucci and Kaku because they're a very good wave clearer. I believe they get the cooldowns, right? They get 10 turns of cooldowns being a Treasure Map Legend, and then fighters get cooldown. So you can super swap with them. I believe they start with their super swap, if I remember correctly, because you get the 5 turns. So I don't even know where I'm looking for super swaps. Yeah, 5. So you get their super swap. Super swap with them, they do damage. Use their special, they do damage. And then you're pretty hunky-dory there. Like I said, if you guys don't have Luchikaku, you can easily just replace Buggy with the Treasure Map Zoro. He has a double wave clearing special. And then you can easily replace Luchikaku with another quick unit that is either boosted or not boosted, depending on how you want to run it. You guys don't have to use Sengoku here as well. Like, you could easily just bring someone else that just does attack and all boosting. So you guys have some options there. Frankie's really the big one to avoid blowaway. Another really good way of getting around blowaway is you could use a captain that's immune to bind, something like Roger Rayleigh Gaban, and then you could probably use something like Toki, and just Toki effect 2 of the characters on the right hand side, one of them being your captain, and then that way you're immune to the blowaway effect. You get bind removal as your captains. You just need to make sure you remember to use Toki on turn 2. So that's something I might be looking at for my particular teams. Moving on to Perona now, the mini boss ulti and the free-to-play Boa are recommended, but again, Boa's a 1.4 booster. We do want to use her on the final stage. Strength, Dex, and quick carries get the good stuff, and Perona's weak to free spirits. She puts up 8 turns of defense up, normal attacks only. She's immune to everything except defense down, and 6 turns of threshold. So if you can bring a character that sets defense to 0 or support like Mihawk, you don't have to worry about this defense up. And if you can bring a character that can just remove the threshold, then you are pretty much good to go. So I'm using Cat Viper for this particular team, but if you guys have Roger Rayleigh Gaban, this is the perfect time to use Roger Rayleigh Gaban. Roger Rayleigh Gaban's going to set the threshold to 0%. Cat Viper obviously bypasses defensive effects, so he works very, very well as well. The upside here is you can use K-Dad because you have type advantage and he's a free spirit. The Odin support gives you color affinity, and ideally you want to use a Cat Viper super type to wave clear turn 1. You use the Cat Viper special on turn 2, and then the Izukiku special to extend the orb boost. So on the final stage, Cat Viper is giving you an attack boost and an orb boost. You have 3 turns of a chain boundary, and then Odin support gives slashes color affinity. So you should be hitting very, very hard with the K-Dad unit. Now I have Shirahoshi on this team. She starts the team with a full board of rainbow slots. She's also a int free spirit character, so she has access to that Mihawk support that I mentioned. It sets defense to 0 at the final stage. It's very, very handy, so you don't have to worry about the defense up literally at all. So very, very nice stuff there. You can use something like Vista for wave clearing here as well. It's another really good option, but I just thrown Morley on this team as well, just as like a point boosting hitter. There's a there's a Treasure Map Rare Recruit Dogstorm that's also boosted if you guys want more points here. You can use that over K-Dad, but I just wanted a bit more type advantage with my hitters here, and that's basically what I'm going with. But again, if you have Roger Rayleigh Gaban, like, just use Roger Rayleigh Gaban over Cat Viper. You can kind of run it the same way. You just want to bring someone that's an attack and orb boosting, and Toki's probably another really good option for this team too. Moving on to the Otama and Yamato fight. This one is probably the most challenging for our teams because we don't have access to Cyber Koala 6+. Cyber Koala 6+ is a 1.35 booster. and isn't part of like the 11th anniversary, all that fun stuff. So they're going to be really good on that final boss fight. So we are including them over there. But unfortunately, they are perfect for this particular fight. Cerebrals, Free Spirit and Driven characters get the good stuff. Yamato and Otama are weak to Cerebrals. They give you a top row to spare, 5 turns of special one on your crewmates, 8 turns on your captains, full border block orbs and unfavorable slots, and they make all type of orbs turn to unfavorable as well. And then they give you a full border normal attacks only. So as you can see, if you run double Saber Koala, you swap with your Saber Koalas, they remove Despair on themselves, they remove special one on themselves, and then their special removes 6 turns of special one, so that way you can just remove the rest of it. They also remove the type orbs as unfavorable, and they obviously give some matching orbs there too. But like I said, we are not including Saber Koala because we want to use Saber Koala later down the line. So we are using Verse Shanks here. As long as you have 4 slashes on the team, which we do, you can actually get access to Shanks' Despair removal in his captain ability. The thing about the last stage is the Despair triggers first. So you can't bring a character that removes Special Line as a captain. You have to bring a captain that removes Despair. Now you can change this up a little bit. Like you can obviously use something like Int Luffy, V1 Rogers, another really good option. But look, Shanks, he's got type advantage. He's a cerebral character. It just makes the most sense to utilize him here. We have Brook as our double wave clearing. Hiyori gives Wano orbs, and then for the special mine removal, I am using the treasure map legend Tashigi. Now, if you guys don't have Tashigi, just replace Tashigi with any other special mine removal. If you're running double Shanks here, you have the 4 slashes with Hiyori, Brook, and then double Shanks. So you can just literally use to like just replace Tashigi with anyone that can remove at least 5 times special one. Like that's literally all you have to do. On top of that, you have the Odin and Roger support for a little bit of an attack boost, which is really handy. Tashigi's an orb booster too, so like that definitely helps out a lot. And then I have the Carrot and Nami special. Just later down the track for a little bit more damage. We can use their super swap, we can use their special to get chain boundary and whatnot. Unfortunately, we can't really get the Shank special. Like you could probably throw the Mihawk support on him, and then maybe, I don't know, like replace Brook with 6+ Zoro Enma, the Zoro duo, and then replace the Carrot and Carrot and Nami unit with another character that gives cooldowns. Like you could do that, but again, Shanks is just not really providing all that much without 6 slasher characters. And yeah, it can be a little bit finicky trying to do that. But the team should work. I don't love it. As always, these teams are subject to change, especially the mini-boss fights. But for now, like this is what we're working with. Moving on to the final boss fight. As I mentioned, this final boss fight is actually really not that challenging. They want you to use, obviously, the recommended characters and then Yamato and Otama. But strength, sight, and any characters get all the good stuff. On battle 2, you get a full board of block orbs, lock slots, attack down, 1 turn of burn, normal attacks only, a territory, all orbs except recovery orbs, basically, and rainbow orbs, get a 70% attack down, and then you get delay immunity as well. So on battle 3, the enemy is weak to strikers. If you have less than 50% HP, you actually don't have to worry about as much. You don't have to worry about a barrier, and you don't have to worry about 10 turns of recovery blind. So this is where bringing a friend captain Ace is very valuable, because his special is going to cut your HP, which then allows you to be below 50%. So really nice stuff. You could obviously do some cheeky stuff here as well with the what's it called, ship. There's a ship, the Moby Dick ship, that starts your HP at 50%. Like you can do some fun stuff there, but ideally you want to be below 50% HP when you move into this stage. Normal attacks only, delay immunity, special blind on your entire team. Middle row is stunned, and then there is a 6-turn threshold. Now, if you are above 50% HP, you have to deal with a 4-turn hit barrier for 20 hits, and then 10 turns of recovery blind, so you can't actually heal, which is a little bit frustrating. So the team we're using looks like this. We are utilizing a friend captain Ace. Ace is a subject to the tag system to get all his utility, but you don't actually need his utility for this final boss fight. So really fun stuff there. Ace buffs Strikers, Powerhouse, and Strength characters, so you can do some pretty fun stuff here with characters like what's her name? Sabo Koala, and you can do some fun stuff with Nami Karina. But essentially, like, you're going to be just final tapping with Ace. That's going to be doing majority of the damage. So on turn 2 is where we want to use the Ace special. You get 1 turn of burn, so Ace will actually convert that into a 3-turn attack boost, which is really nice. And then you can use the super swap of Nami and Karina. So start as Nami, because strength characters get good stuff. You super swap with Nami Karina. That's going to give you the at least I think you have Nami Karina super, so it's 4 turns, right? 5 turns, yeah, cool. So you have that. You can super swap with them. You turn all of the block orbs into G orbs. You use the Karina special to remove the attack down, and you're pretty much good to go from there. You can also swap with Sabo Koala here to get some recovery orbs, because remember, recovery orbs don't have the reduction. Their super swap is on an 8-turn cooldown though, so you won't actually have the super swap, so you can easily swap with them and then swap back with them on the final stage to just remove the what's it called? Wait, did they actually... They remove special bind, right? Yeah. So remove special bind on themselves. Cool. So yeah, then you can just swap back into Sabo on the final stage, and then Sabo is your strength character getting buffed under Ace as well, so that works out pretty nicely. Other than that, like, Sabo Koala really aren't doing all that much here. They're just like a 1.35 booster. They're like just giving color affinity, which is kind of fun. And then for the final fight, all you really need to do here, once you've done that, is because your orbs get locked as well, you've got a full board of G-orbs, you've got a full board of what's it called? G-orbs and recovery orbs. G-orbs are pretty much what you want to keep. And then you also have Ace remove the territory. He lowers your attack, which is, lowers your HP. So when you move into the final stage, you're below 50%. All you really have to deal with now is stun, special bind, and threshold. Now, your middle row gets stunned, but if you have a support that can get around that, like the Enel support on Nami and Karina, I believe there is a Zoro support that goes on Sanji as well. Is it? Yeah, so this Zoro, which a lot of people should have because he was an illustrious Super Sugo, he's another really good option to cut your HP. And that way you just remove the stun. Swap with Sabo Koala, use the Sabo Koala special. They're 6+, will remove special bind, which is awesome. Then now that you get a color affinity buff too, they can increase the attack boost, which is pretty cool, but like it's going to be a strong enough attack boost anyway. And then I just threw on Treasure Map Usopp because he's a 1.5 times booster. Sorry, a 1.25 booster, and he is going to take care of the threshold for us. Now, if you guys have Roger Rayleigh Gaban, this is another really good place where you can use Roger Rayleigh Gaban. Use them as your captain instead of Nami Karina, and then you can just set the threshold to 0. And you can still bring Nami Karina as a sub, and then still just do the same thing that was what you're doing. But Nami Karina they're going to give you an extra drop, which is quite nice. But look, Roger Rayleigh Gaban are going to give you more points. As for other threshold removers, I believe if you have Bonnie from the 11th anniversary batch, she's just a better option to use than something like Usopp. And that's probably what I would do with this particular team, and still run an Ace friend captain. That's going to work out a little bit nicer. So then that way you still at least have 2 captains buffing your entire team. Because remember, Ace is buffing strength, which you'll have being Sabo Koala and the Boa unit. Boa's literally doing nothing on this team, by the way. She's still 1.4 booster. Frankie and what's his name? Frankie and Sanji, they're just giving chain boundary for the final stage for a little bit more extra damage. But then Bonnie will just give you a chain boost. She's also getting buffed under Ace as well, being a striker character. But Usopp's going to give you set target, and you have 2 free spirit characters here, so that's also a pretty big benefit to the team too. So that's the team. Seems pretty straightforward. You could easily throw on like an orb booster as well. Like I know there's like the VV support, I believe it is, but like if you use VV, you have to change slots. I don't know if Sabo Koala, do they rotate orbs? Maybe they do. They change empty block bomb G and type slots. Yeah, so you'll still have... Okay, so you want to actually do this. Yeah, that's definitely what you want to do. Because you want your strength characters to have the recovery orbs. Because remember, on turn... What's it called? On turn 2, if you attack with any of the type orbs, they are going to get the reduced damage dealt by 70%. So, and that's for 3 turns as well. So you are going to have to deal with that moving into the final stage no matter what. So yeah, you definitely want to have either... recovery orbs on these types of characters, and then they rotate orbs, so you could easily just throw on the VV support there. That's going to work out pretty hunky-dory. Like I said, if you guys have... let's just go here quickly and go to threshold removal. If you have any like these characters here, like they're also going to work. This York's actually a pretty good option too, over something like the Usopp. You're not going to get as much damage output, but you'll get the bottom row turn to recovery orb, so you get a few more recovery slots. Not that you really need it. Like, because like Cyber Koala is the only other character you want to have a recovery orb there. But look, it's a free-to-play option to remove Threshold with her double special activation, and she's still a 1.25 booster. Other than that, like I said, Bonnie is definitely going to be the best option. If you have Dragon, you definitely can use Dragon. I think if you go... Yeah, that's probably the best options. I'd probably say that. And then just hitting with Ace, hitting with the Boa unit is just going to hit like ridiculously hard. So that's definitely the play moving forward. So that's the final boss team. Like I said, it's really not that challenging. But the Intrusion, man, the Intrusion's a bit of a doozy. They really want you to use Otama, Yamato, Nami, and the new Ace, which is just a lot to ask of the player base after the 11th anniversary. But here we are. Remember, you don't have to fight the Intrusion. I want to make that like abundantly clear. You do not have to fight the Intrusion. So just be very, very mindful with that. So looking at the preemptive, the Powerhouse, Striker, and Shichibokai get the good stuff. On Battle 2, there's 4 enemies. They all have 2.5 million HP. And then the main boss gives you 3 turns of Special Reverse, full body paralysis orbs, has 98 turns of defense down immunity, binds your middle row, 4 turns of burn, 7 turns of resilience, and then has a 7 million barrier. Now, after that, if you do damage to the enemy, you're going to get 100% heal, 1 turn of special reverse, and then your lock specials are 2 good taps. After 1 turn for each of the mob units, if you guys don't get kill them, they blow away a character, which is very, very annoying. So you definitely want to kill all these units. And again, this is why bringing Ace is so vital, because there's no normal attacks only here, and Ace is basically just going to wipe these characters. Like, his special is just going to take care of literally all of this for you. The problem is you need 3 turns of special reverse, which is it's just a lot to ask. You also need to get rid of paralysis orbs, which is a little bit of a problem, and you have to deal with some bind. But there are some cheeky ways to get around that, and I will show you how we're doing it with this particular team. But looking at the final stage, Boa's weak to strikers. She gives crewmate paralysis for 9 turns. She gives you despair for 6 after sockets, and then attack down if you blow a 3 times chain, whilst having full immunity and normal attacks only. So the team I get put together looks like this. Now, the supports are subject to change. It's dependent on what you guys actually have. So first of all, I'm going to start it off by saying I'm utilizing the level 12 Merry Go ship. So this ship gives 1 turn of bind and despair removal, and then also its special does 1 turn of bind and despair removal too. Now this is just great to get around despair on the final stage, but again, it's not actually needed if you have some of these other supports, and we'll talk about it as we go through. Now the big one that you really, really want to have is this Carousel support. This particular Carousel support is so freaking good because he removes 1 turn of bind and 1 turn of paralysis when inflicted. So on turn 2, when you get inflicted with the bind, he removes it by 1 turn, but then he also removes 1 turn of paralysis, which means he's going to rotate all the paralysis orbs as well. It's an insane support, goes on Cyber Koala. Cyber Koala are going to be the character that you need it for, and it's going to work out pretty hunky-dory. On Battle 2, you want to pop the Ace special, you're going to mob clear, that's going to work out pretty nice, and you should also basically just destroy the barrier of 7 million. Like, I don't really see the 7 million being a problem. Plus, you apply the burn mechanic, so that way you get around the resilience. Ace is going to remove the burn completely, and then to remove the bind, we have the Zoro and, not Zoro, we have the Sanji and Frankie special. We do need 3 turns of cooldown first, though, so utilizing Carrot and Wanda is perfect here. They give you 3 turns of cooldown, and if you have the Moonbreak expanded, they actually get their special back ready to go for the final stage. They're immune to special reverse too, so they're easily going to get their special. Use their special, they give you an orb boost. You can super swap with them too, get their attack boost, and then you can give the or you actually don't want their attack boost, you get Ace's attack boost. Give the cooldowns to Ace, use Ace's special, he increases the attack boost once he overrides it with the burn, then use the Frankie and the Sanji special to remove the bind. Swap with your Cyber Koala. Use your Cyber Koala special there if you really wanted to. I'll probably save it for the final stage, but when you do damage, remember, you're going to get a full heal, and then you also get 1 turn of special reverse too. So a little bit annoying there, but the idea is that you cut your HP by 99% with Ace, and then they full heal you back so that you don't have to worry about it there either. So very, very nice stuff. Moving on to the final stage, this is where it kind of gets a little bit tricky, and this is what I was saying about the Merry Go. The Merry Go is great because you can remove basically 2 turns of the despair, and then with sockets you bring it down to 6, and then like I said, the Merry Go can remove another turn and then another one. But if you guys don't have that ship level 12, I do understand. I leveled it up for a Grand Voyage, so if you're looking for a reason to level it up, you will get some extra use out of it. But you do have some supports that can help you out with the despair removal as well. Now you do have the Reiju support here. It's another support that can get around the bind, which is very, very nice, but look, it's really not doing anything at all. As for other supports to deal with despair, you don't really have all that much. It's a little bit challenging with the characters at your disposal. Because remember, we are trying to bring as many point boosters as possible. Now, I couldn't fit the boa on this particular team. I am using Crocodile. Now, remember, if on stage 2, when you do damage, you get that heal, you get that extra turn of cooldown. So you want to make sure that you use Ace's special last. So, utilizing Carrot and Wanda, you're going to get the 3 turns of cooldown. Like I said, on stage 2, you're going to use the special of Frankie and Sanji. That's going to give you some ship cooldown. And then you can use their double special activation to remove all the bind. Karasu triggers, he rotates the paralysis orbs, and you're pretty much good to go from there. Once you've used the double special of Frankie and Sanji, you actually get the cooldowns for the Merry Go. However, again, you don't have to do this. Like, you just can bypass the Merry Go. If you guys have Crocodile, Crocodile gives 1 turn of cooldown to cerebral characters and driven units, and removes paralysis by 7 turns. You'll already have the attack boost from Ace, so you won't have to worry about Crocodile's attack boost. But what he is good for is he gives you a chain boundary starting at 3.25 or 2.75, I believe, maxing at 35 times. So that's very, very effective. And that way you don't need to use the Sanji and Frankie special on the final stage. On top of that, you have the support of Mihawk from the Treasure Map Buggy Batch. He can actually remove 2 turns of despair or paralysis 2 turns of despair when inflicted with despair or paralysis. So because you don't actually get inflicted with paralysis, you just get inflicted with paralysis orbs, you can actually get this to trigger on the final stage. So you get 2 turns of despair with the Mihawk support. You get 2 turns of despair with the Brook support that goes on Nami Karina. Nami Karina can also remove paralysis. You need to just make sure that you use the Nami special, so that way you're getting around paralysis. You need 9 turns of it, so this is just a perfect way to do that. You use the special of Nami Karina, remove some paralysis, and then, yeah, you just remove some despair removal there too. So now, the last support to get around despair is a bit of a tricky one. The Pedro support came out a very long time ago. I believe it came out with Luffy Sanji, and he removes 2 turns of attack down or 2 turns of despair whenever inflicted. So this is another really good despair removing support. However, this character has not returned. So if you guys do not have this character or you're a newer player, it's going to be very, very hard to get your hands on said unit. But like I said, you can try and utilize something like the Merry-Go ship, or you could, again, just yeah, it's gonna be really tough. It's gonna be really, really tough to just to bypass that paralysis, to bypass that despair. So a bit of a tricky one with this particular intrusion. Again, we are utilizing Ace as a friend captain, so just be mindful there. But hopefully these teams help you guys out, and if they do, put a like button, hit the subscribe button, do all that good stuff. I will have playthrough videos as well with these particular teams, so don't stress if I have not explained anything too correctly. You guys will see how the teams actually work once the treasure map goes live in about 24 hours. But hopefully you guys enjoy the video. Like I said, put a like button, hit the subscribe button, do all the good stuff. Most importantly, wherever you guys are in this beautiful world, please remember to enjoy the rest of your day. As always, homies, thank you all for watching, and I'll catch you on the next one. Let's